We as Pacific Islanders, we depend on our biodiversity resources for food, for shelter, our culture, our dance costumes, and showing our identity to the world. Biodiversity is a very good resource in that sense.
Biodiversity to me in terms of Nauru is all living organisms within an ecosystem, especially the endemic species, and it is very important for us to preserve them as they are only found within our own countries.
Biodiversity means to me is life. It gives life not only to human beings but to the ecosystems.
So conservation means sustaining all the living things, the biodiversity surrounding us.
Many small island developing states are the most vulnerable in losing their unique biodiversity as a result of both natural and human-caused impacts. The ongoing identification and assessment of the status of Pacific Island biodiversity, together with conservation efforts, are important to maintain and sustain our island biodiversity, which support livelihoods and increase resilience to the impacts of climate change, sea level rise, and human impacts.
The Integrated Island Biodiversity Project draws funds from the Global Environment Facility, which is a United Nations trust fund provided for by Western and the main contributing countries. The money is channeled through the United Nations Environment Program and then through SPREP. And the project aims to fulfil some of the obligations that countries have to the Convention on Biological Diversity, in particular protecting threatened species and their habitats. And so it involves such activities as BioRaps, which is about measuring the extent and diversity of biodiversity in countries. So there is baseline information on which to manage those threatened species and their habitats, and also provide future guidance on where to focus future work and money for other projects.
This project has provided good baseline information on the status of biodiversity in the Cook Islands, Nauru, Tonga and Tuvalu, achieved through a series of fieldwork and biodiversity surveys that have been completed under the project. Such information is vital to inform decision-making at different levels, some of which have been realized as key outcomes of the GEF-PAS IIB project. The project has many outcomes and results achieved with multiple benefits to the respective project participating island countries.
The Island Biodiversity Project of the Cook Islands have progressed a lot of activities for biodiversity. Firstly, it has done a lot of assessments, surveys. Our cloud forest has been studied. Our unga, our coconut crab, has been surveyed for the first time thanks to the IIB project. Our teachers have been trained on how to teach our students in learning our biodiversity in the Cook Islands. The project has helped share the message of biodiversity and lets people appreciate it more, especially the unga or the coconut crab. People now know that these are long-lived and slow-growing organisms, so we need to protect these species and the areas that they live on. So thank you to the IIB project for helping advance the knowledge of biodiversity. There's been some research, kimi anga for the Vairako Māori, so for the islands of Mauke, Atiu. So this has really helped the biodiversity in the Cook Islands, the work of National Environment Service to progress what we have done in the Cook Islands.
The final project activity for the Cook Islands was their training on participatory three-dimensional modelling, completed in June 2016, which will assist the Wakapuaikura district in Rarotonga with conservation and broader land use planning.
Ka maura moia kami. My name is Beric Tawiogo from the Republic of Nauru. The activities of the IIB project in Nauru were the BioRap, and the marine spatial planning training.
One of the key activities completed under the project was the recent training on participatory three-dimensional modelling, which was completed in April.
In terms of the BIRAP, Nauru now has a reference document that collates all information regarding living organisms within the ecosystem. In terms of the marine spatial planning training, now our fisheries officials have the skills and mandate to do data collection in terms of marine life. When the IIB project came in, it gave us the opportunity and they gave us the technical expertise and taught us on how to use these different information in making sure that we are able to protect our biodiversity.
A management plan for the Nauru wetlands and a national wetland inventory for Nauru have also been completed under the same project. Like Nauru, the Kingdom of Tonga was able to complete several activities as part of the project.
The major activities that already completed are the completion of the Megapole survey that was conducted on the island of Niuafo'ou for Nualei and Lade Islands, the completion of the recovery plan for the Megapole species on the island of Niuafo'ou, as well as the completion of the vegetation plots on the Ewa National Park, the Biological Rapid Assessment Survey, or known as BIRAP. As a project coordinator, I'm proud after these 3 years of implementation of the project, working closely together with the international specialists during the big BIRAP Biological Rapid Assessment Survey that was conducted in Vava'u, as well as the bird monitoring, and it gives me a desire to learn more about the species and biodiversity of Tonga, because this will help the conservation side of the environment.
As part of the project activities, a participatory three-dimensional modelling training was completed.
The IBB project in Tuvalu is focusing on awareness programs, capacity building for the island councils, and all those sites being identified in the country. Also, the other activity which is also important is the demarcation of conservation areas on all sites which have been selected. It has provided a good capacity building to the island leaders, as well the awareness to students in schools and also the whole communities on each island. For us who've been working in the project, and in particular for my project coordinators and other stakeholders, we are very proud of the project. Yeah, we have to give appreciation, a lot of appreciation to the donors and also to our implementing partner, SPREP, which has given us a lot of assistances in trying to ensure that the project moves forward to what has been expected.
The project is executed by the Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Program, SPREP, who is pleased with the significant outcomes and results achieved through the GEF-PAS IIB project.
We have been very satisfied with the results of the project. It's not a large project, but it has managed to achieve a great deal in the 4 countries which we were supporting. The objective in implementing the project is conserve the biodiversity in the 4 countries by building national capacity. And so the work that we've been undertaking has been very much focused from that perspective. Some of the key outcomes that we have managed to implement with the countries and with our partners, organisations, have included rapid biodiversity assessments, or BioRaps, in 3 of the countries, which for this region have been quite an innovative approach and really highlighted the incredible interest, not just within the region but from institutions outside the region, to assist the countries in trying to understand the nature of their biodiversity better and its importance.
The project has produced key outcomes and results with positive impacts on the island countries and their unique biodiversity. There has been greater level of awareness that has been generated, including information and knowledge that have been gathered and collated. All these key achievements will contribute towards building a solid foundation for effective and sustainable biodiversity conservation in the Pacific Islands into the future.
The scale and size of these projects is what makes them unique, and it's one of the first of its kind for these countries. So it's really setting the stage for, we hope, a long period, a long history of doing further work towards biodiversity conservation.
The project is funded by the Global Environment Facility Pacific Alliance for Sustainability, or GEF-PAS, and administered by the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, as part of its mandate.